Welcome to MumAbroad's interview of the week. Today I'm joined by Katherine Walkerdine. She's been living in Spain since founding Mortgage Direct in 2006. Her main role is in business development to ensure the company maintains its leading position in Spain and Portugal. She's married to Kevin Munger, who's the other founder of the business, and they have two children, aged 10 and 13, both of them born in Valencia. Hi, Katherine.
Hi, Jane. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for joining me today. Katherine, the housing market doesn't quite know what to do with itself in the current pandemic. So firstly, do you think it's a good time to buy a property in Spain?
It's a very good question, and we're actually talking about it with our team earlier today. We have weekly chats, and the results are coming out that some people are saying there's going to be a big crash, some are saying there aren't. If the prices do dip, Spain will be the one that bounces up the quickest in terms of the price rises. We're very busy. We're only about 25% less busy than we were pre-COVID. And whilst people are putting their plans on hold, they're still wanting to buy, hence the reason, we're receiving so many activities. We personally don't think there'll be a drop in prices, or if there is, it'll be a small one. What's happened with the pandemic, a lot of people now can work from home. They can even work from abroad. And with the uncertainties in the future, a lot of people are saying, actually, that dream home I wanted to buy in Spain in 5 years' time, I now want to buy now. So we haven't seen a big difference, and we don't think there'll be a big crash at all. And we'll see, the prices will start increasing again at some point in the future.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because COVID is changing people's priorities, and they're seeing their homes as places to work as well.
Yes, absolutely.
What kind of mortgages are currently available to Spanish residents, Katherine?
Yeah, I mean, the Spanish residents, they'll get the 80% borrowing. And if it's a non-resident who's looking to move here, if they haven't been paying their income taxes for 6 months to a year, then they'll be classified as a non-resident, and the maximum would be 70%. The client needs to make allowances for the fees and taxes, which is around 10 to 13% of the price.
And are any lenders trying to get the economy moving by offering special packages?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. With the mainstream banks, we're not seeing any changes. But for off-plan purchases, new builds, new developments, we're seeing people throwing in, for example, like a kitchen into the property that wasn't before, or like maybe a few percentage off, to attract people to buy the properties. But in terms of the actual banks themselves, not really. For those repossessed properties that the banks can't sell, they're offering higher loan to value. So you might see a mortgage of, say, 90%. But again, it's usually those properties the banks can't get rid of, and they're offering better conditions so that they can get rid of the property.
Do you normally recommend fixed or variable rate mortgages?
It depends on the income earner. If it is a resident based in Spain, of course, they'll be earning in euros, and fixed rates are possible. With the Euribor being so low, and in fact minus at the moment, fixed rates are extremely low, as are variable rates, but clients are wanting to fix in for like a 15, 20, 25-year term, which you can do in Spain, unlike in other countries. And so fixed rates are very attractive if you can get them.
Katherine, how easy is it to get a mortgage here in Spain? What kind of information do you need to share with lenders?
Yeah, a general rule of thumb is what we say to all clients is 1/3 of your net monthly income can be attributed to the new Spanish mortgage, and it has to take into account their existing debts. For a fiscal resident, somebody who's already living in Spain and earning in Spain, usually it's 40% of their net income. So the client's income has to satisfy the bank's affordability criteria, and the client also needs to have, if they're living in Spain, the 20% deposit plus 10 to 13% for the fees and taxes.
And if you're non-resident, does your deposit need to be bigger or not?
Yeah, so if you're a non-resident, the maximum mortgage is 70%. A lot of banks are now only offering 60%, and that's due to the new currency risk with the new law that came in. By law, the banks, the client, if the currency rate goes 20% against the client has the right to change the currency in which they pay the mortgage into their income currency. It's a big risk for the banks, especially for clients, for example, earning in the US dollar. Some banks are saying, right, we don't want to lend to clients earning in that currency, for example. One of the main lenders in Spain, one of the biggest banks, will only lend 60% to British clients. But the good thing being independent is we know which bank to go to get the highest borrowing for the client, dependent on their, the currency that they earn their income in.
And are you finding that people are looking in particular places in Spain or all over the country?
Yeah, it's interesting because we're always seeing, changes in where foreigners are buying, or fiscal residents as well. Marbella used to be really popular, and then we found a lot of our clients, or a number of clients who were buying in the south, were now buying up in Barcelona. And now we've seen not a shift, but again, a lot of clients buying in Andalusia again. The Costa Blanca is very popular, the Balearic Islands, especially Ibiza, more so than Mallorca. But Barcelona's always been a hotspot, and especially foreigners either buying for a second home or to live in Barcelona permanently.
I live just outside of Barcelona in an area called the Maresme, and I've noticed in the past 6 months or so that quite a lot of people are moving out of the city centre, out into the smaller villages where they can get slightly bigger houses and gardens for their money, and they have a little bit of space because of the situation with the pandemic. People are really thinking about the places that they're living in more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we've seen a huge increase in the number of clients buying in cities compared to, outside the cities like yourself, Joan. And because, as mentioned earlier, they can work from home, they're moving to the countryside and having the outdoor space and, lots of opportunities.
Katherine, presumably sometimes you have clients who would be cash buyers. Do you recommend that they take out a mortgage in this situation?
Yeah, it's a good question, Jane. We're actually receiving a lot of clients at the moment who would have been cash buyers, so they can buy the property with cash, but with mortgage borrowing being so cheap, with rates at 2.5%, and now that the banks have to pay for the mortgage tax, the notary costs, so the fees for taking out a mortgage are very low. And with the uncertainty in the future, with what's happening with COVID and people's expectations of the future and their work positions, they're saying, hold on a minute, let's hold on to our cash and let's buy the property with a mortgage. They either keep that cash for security or they could even invest it elsewhere. We're seeing a lot of buyers as well borrowing on a 50% basis. So they're not looking for the maximum. So they're just sort of going in between. So let's not buy 100% with cash. Let's not go for the maximum mortgage, but let's just keep some of our capital back.
Katherine, when you moved to Spain in 2006, you chose to live in Valencia. Did you think about other cities?
We thought about Ibiza. But I knew a friend who lived in Valencia, so I went quite a lot and thought it was a great place to go and live. And also they had the America's Cup on at the time. We were looking to buy a property, and we'd actually seen a newspaper article and saying that, Valencia is a great place to buy. You've got the coast. It's an up and coming city. It's the third largest city in Spain, and you've got the climate. Flights are fantastic to get there. And prices are very low, so that's what we did. We chose Valencia. We bought a place, and we've been here for 15 years since.
You're not the first person that's told me a story about visiting Valencia due to the America's Cup and then staying. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm going to put your website address at the bottom of the screen now. If people want to find out more about your business, they can have a look at the website, and there they will find your contact details, so your telephone number and email address.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks.
Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
What do you love about where you live?
We're right in the heart of the old town, so there's a plaza at the end of the end of the road, and with a big old fountain. And so right in the middle of the old town, which is what we absolutely love. You've got all the old bars and restaurants all in walking distance. Having said that, when we moved to Spain and when we moved to Valencia, we bought the place and our first home was out in the countryside. And we're now actually living like Spaniards. So we're in the old town in the week, and at the weekends we go out to the countryside. So we have the best of both worlds.
What's your favourite restaurant in the city?
Yeah, it's Salvadora, and the restaurant owner is Jaime. And we were very fortunate when it opened, and they do a lot of flamenco there as well. But the food is excellent, and yes, it's literally on our doorstep. So very happy to have that.
Your ideal Sunday, what would that be?
My ideal Sunday, it would just be getting the newspapers, the English newspapers, taking a coffee, just having a stroll around and having some tapas. And that's about it, Jane. Live very hectic lives, so that is a perfect Sunday.
The best weekend escape outside of the city?
Yeah, I'd say it's Cuenca. It's about an hour and a half in the car. And I mean, there's so much here in Valencia that you don't really need to escape for the weekend, but it's a fantastic place to go, and would highly recommend it.
One piece of advice, Katherine, for families relocating to Valencia?
Yeah, I'd say certainly for the parents to join networking groups. It's one of the best things I ever did. I've met some fabulous people on a personal basis and for business. So definitely the groups. There's always groups everywhere in Spain for expats.
Do you have a favourite paella restaurant?
I do. I like to go to Gabeach in Malvarosa on the seafront. I don't know if they do the very best paellas, but it's certainly a great atmosphere, and yeah, I love going there.
And can you recommend one activity for teens and tweens in the city?
Yeah, I think cycling is very popular now. When we arrived, there wasn't one, well, not we were aware of, one bike shop where you could rent bikes. Now on every corner you'll see one. Valencia is very flat, and you've got the lovely riverbed. So we go a lot with our teens or our children onto the riverbed. You can turn right, and 40 minutes you'll be at the beach, or to the left, 30 minutes you're at the beer park, and that's also a great activity to do for the day.
Your favourite part of Spain?
I have to say it's the Costa Brava. I owned a place there, gosh, it must be 20, showing my age now, 20 or 30 years ago. And I still go every year for holidays in Berger. And I just love the area, my husband and I. So, yeah, that's our favourite place.
Your favourite family-friendly beach?
In the Costa Brava, it'd be Agua Frida, Agua Blava, all around there. And in Valencia, Malvarosa.
And can you describe your life in 3 words?
Yeah, I was thinking about this question. I'd say exciting, fulfilled, and happy.